Good evening and welcome to the April 13th, 2023 meeting of the Abington Township Board of Commissioners. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioners Brodsky.
Here.
Rothman. DePlacido.
Here.
Vaughn. Thompson.
Who?
Thompson.
Here.
Weingrad.
Here.
Henry. Sapone.
Here.
Carswell.
Here.
Spiegelman.
Here.
Bowl.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Bowman.
Was that Bone? Here.
Bowman, yes. Vice President Vahey.
Here.
President Hecker.
Here. Please note that Commissioners Vaughn and Henry are excused this evening. And may we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I have no announcements this evening, so we will move right into our first public comment period. And this public comment period is for matters that are on the agenda this evening. Are there any residents in the audience who wish to speak to the matters on the agenda this evening? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to speak to matters on the agenda this evening?
Laura Lehman, you're unmuted.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so commissioners, you have had emails from me and from others that reflected that the changes that you are trying to force through in a rushed manner a month ahead of time without the proper documents being given to the residents, without any meetings with the residents at 100 York Apartments, without any real input from the residents at 100 York Apartment, are completely inadequate. The elevator situation that you have put forth as an amendment is almost exactly what they have there now that they are complaining about, and that is leaving especially disabled people in absolute danger. Absolute danger. It is, I mean, we're talking 200 apartments in one building, up to 400 in another building, on 1 to 2 elevators. Out of 4 elevators, you're suggesting only 2 need to be working. This is completely inadequate. It's what they have now. The elevators are not working. They're making noises. They're dangerous. And most of the time, some of the time, there's not even a single elevator available in a 12-story building or an 8-story building. And what you're doing is in deference to the landlord. It's to the benefit of a landlord that has done nothing. And if you look at the ordinance that you're putting forth tonight, it allows that category called unfit for human habitation. This meets it, in my opinion, in every respect. And the option is condemnation. And if you condemn that building, that's a punishment to the residents who are to be evacuated, and there's no clear rules for evacuation. What you should have done is put in measures that would protect them, that would allow them time to know that this was happening, to prepare for other plans. And you certainly took plenty of time getting around to, remember in October, we were told that you had full knowledge of what was going on there. And it's not until now that you're actually even doing anything. So clearly, having an ordinance where condemnation and immediate evacuation is even a possibility is not in the tenant's interest. There may be times that immediate evacuation is necessary, but most of the time that's not the case, and that needs to be clearly spelled out. Okay? In addition, you did not consider any other measures for them. like the necessity of having a manual that tells them who's involved in enforcing what, that kind of thing, with phone numbers and directions. Chip could keep, and that could be made part of every tenant lease in an apartment building of so and so many units in Abington.
Ms. Lehman, I'll ask you to wrap up your comments now. Thank you.
Okay, I will wrap them up. Please pull this from the agenda and do not even consider it until you have consulted the residents and made something for the residents. And I want to just say, Mr. Heil, I am told by Department of Labor and Industry, is to be contacted directly by the residents, which I have done since January again and again, and he does not respond. If you...
Ms. Lehman, thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else on Zoom that wishes to speak to matters on the agenda? And if not, we will move into the agenda this evening. First up is the consent agenda, and for that, I will turn to Board Vice President Matt Behe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for passage of the consent agenda listed as items A through Q. I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Consent agenda carries. We have no unfinished business this evening, so we will move straight forward into new business. And once again, I will turn this over to Board Vice President Matt Behe.
Thank you, Mr. President. First item is BOC-17-041323, motion to adopt ordinance number 2205, repealing Chapter 98, housing standards in its entirety and replacing it and repealing all inconsistent ordinances. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions for members of the board? Commissioner Weingrath.
Thank you. I want to thank the board for fast-tracking this. I think it's something that we need, both the people at 100 York as well as all the residents in Abington Township. So I think it's something that I'd like to see move forward and pass. So thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item of new business is BOC-18-041323, motion to award the traffic signal improvements bid to Armour and Sons Electric, Inc. in the amount of $212,385 for the 2018 Arley and 2017 Green Light Go intersection improvement projects, and authorize the township manager to execute the contract. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions for members of the board? Commissioner DiPlacido.
Thank you, Commissioner Hecker. Manager Manfredi, how is that being paid, the $212,000? Or where's that coming from?
That is coming from our grants match account. The underground work is going to be paid directly through the grant, so for the 2017 Green Light Go as well as the 2018 Arley. So there are 3 intersections as part of this project that went out to bid through this proposal, which will be being paid through 2 grant match accounts.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Ashley.
Other comments or questions for members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item of new business is BOC-19-041323, motion to award the Abington Township mowing contract for zones 1, 2, and 3 for years 2023, 24, and 25 to Cancer Fighting Lung Care in the amount of $98,333.33, and authorize the township manager to execute the contract. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item of new business, BOC-20-041323, motion to approve the contract with MJM Systems, also known as Malillo, for the upgrade to Abington Township Data Center in the amount of $162,917.45, and authorize the township manager to execute the contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions for members of the board? Commissioner Weingrath.
This is for Manager Manfredi. This is within The budgeted amount? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Next item of new business is BOC-21-041323. Motion to appoint Karen McGarry Rosen and Susan Myrov to the Environmental Advisory Council for a term ending on 12/31/25, as included in Exhibit A. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions from members of the board? I'll just say, I think we should extend a hearty thank you to both of those individuals for their outstanding service to the township. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is BOC-22-041323. Motion to appoint Commissioners Hecker, Vehy, and Schreiber as the Reapportionment Committee. And I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Last item of new business is BOC-23-041323. Motion to approve a change order request in the amount of $8,300 from BRB Contractors for the Old Jerk Road and Susquehanna Road Improvement Project, and I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
And that concludes the new business of the Board of Commissioners, Mr. President.
Thank you, Vice President Vehy. We'll now turn to matters of the Finance Committee, and for that, we will turn to Finance Committee Chair, Commissioner Stuart Weingrad.
Thank you, President Hecker. First up is item FC 01041323, motion to approve the February 2023 expenditures in the amount of $3,021,711.08 and salaries and wages in the amount of $2,176,635.10, and authorizing the proper officials to sign vouchers and payment of bills and contracts as they mature through the month of May 2023, and I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioners Brodsky? Rothman?
Yes.
DePlacido?
Yes.
Vaughn? Thompson?
Yes.
Weingrad?
Yes.
Henry?
yes,
Carswell?
yes,
Spiegelman?
Yes.
Bowles?
Yes.
Schreiber?
yes,
Bowman?
Yes.
Vice President Vehy?
Yes.
President Hecker?
Yes.
Motion.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, item FC 02041323, motion to ratify Evans Pancoast of NFP Corporate Services, PA, Inc., as the broker of record for the group Medicare plan, and I so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions for members of the board? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
And that would conclude the Finance Committee agenda items for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move into general public comment, I just want to amend my earlier comment to reflect the fact that Commissioner Henry is attending the meeting virtually this evening. Welcome, Commissioner Henry.
thank you.
And now we will open it up to general matters of the township business, public comment. Please come forward, state your name. And you'll have 3 minutes.
Drive, Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. First, I'm hoping we have a more detailed follow-up on what's happening with 100 Old York Road. But I also have questions. 2 or 3 meetings ago, mention was made of a lawsuit against the township by someone objecting to, I think it was a gay pride flag. LGBTQ people are citizens of this country with the same rights as everyone else. First, I'm curious why that was allowed. Second, I'd like to know what follow-up is going on, because part of that money, fighting that lawsuit, is my money. And as a citizen of this country, I strenuously object to anyone who objects to a gay pride flag.
Thank you for your comments. Please come forward.
Hello.
State my name.
Yes.
Adele, Kubel, and I live in Abington. The leadership of Abington Township has known about the filth and unhealthy conditions at Raymore and Flanagan for years. I first reported the Raymore and Flanagan property 1 year ago. However, the conditions at the complex were well known. Today, the Raymore and Flanagan dump site remains unchanged. The one area of improvement is due to the effort of Commissioner Weingart. Commissioner Weingart was responsible for getting Raymore and Flanagan to repair yards of front sidewalk. This was a significant repair. Now pedestrians can walk past the store without jumping across ditch-deep holes in the cement. Mr. Weingart is the only commissioner that has spent any significant amount of time talking to me about blight and even touring a blighted property. Mr. Manfredi, you agreed last month that Raymore and Flanagan was in deplorable condition. Mr. Manfredi, you said that you would personally see to the repair of Raymore and Flanagan and 2 other properties. Now we're again back to directing inspectors to check this property twice a week. The Raymore and Flanagan Corporation has indicated through their behavior that the company will not make any repairs willingly. For an entire year, I've emailed photos to you to document this unhealthy situation. Legal action should have been taken years ago. Paramount Realty has no responsibility for the damage caused by Raymore and Flanagan. Paramount Realty is immaculate. Why issue citations to the wrong corporation? Paramount property is a model property. Do not continue to rewind this blight situation back to start. It is a certainty that no maintenance staff is hired to clean the outside area surrounding the property. Commissioners, your job requires more than just sitting here and listening. Take action, hold commercial businesses responsible. Mr. D. Placido. At the March meeting, I asked for assistance with blight. At the end of the meeting, you responded by flexing your arm muscles and oddly posturing, while telling me to keep up the good fight. Why are you attempting to harass me? Why are you failing to help clear Abington of commercial blight? Mr. Spiegelman, thank you for answering a recent email. Most commissioners still ignore email and phone calls. Lack of concern is an issue that many residents experience. And Commissioner Rothman, thank you for recently answering the phone. Now, this is a photo, Mr. Clark, of what Raymore and Flanagan looks like. Is it recent? It was a week and a half ago. And where does the garbage come from? A lot of it is coming from the this dumpster here. It goes straight down regularly because it's open and it's parked as close as possible to the grassy area that belongs to probably another corporation. And the garbage just goes straight on down regularly all the time. It is absurd how far that garbage has traveled in a period of years. It goes all the way down to the Baderwood shopping areas where Chico's is. This is a huge amount of garbage, and it bothers me that the entire environment is being ruined. And it could be repaired. Target was repaired. It did take a lot of work from me, but it was repaired, and something could be done about this. A year is too long. This is too long. Please help control blight. Please care. Don't tell me to keep up the good fight alone.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else in the room that wishes to speak? And if not, we'll turn to Zoom.
Ross A., you're unmuted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, this is Ross Abel, Upland Avenue, part of Jenkintown Abington Neighbors. First off, I had one question, and then I have a few other things. One question is regarding the demo at Susquehanna. I wanted to ask, has the township ever, I don't know if you have the possibility of reaching out specifically to demolition companies that do architectural salvage. Have you done that before?
Could you repeat the question?
there are demolition companies that specifically do architectural salvage on old historic buildings. And with that in mind, it would be awesome if with any of these really old structures that have some unique woodwork and are unique buildings that follow the kind of Philly style of, so hundreds plus years ago. But there are companies out there that, including one called Heartland Salvage. But it would be awesome if the township could look into this in the future.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, and then separately, I wanted to ask this, or just notify you that the Jenkintown Borough now has a trails subcommittee underneath their planning commission. And I know with the Parks Master Plan coming out, there's talk of there possibly being a permanent committee dedicated to this. And I just wanted to wholeheartedly recommend that the township pursue something similar that is on a permanent basis to look at these sorts of plans and ongoing projects. And then separately, I wanted to ask that the township work with Jenkintown and Cheltenham to collaborate on possibly doing a traffic study for 611 with traffic calming and a possible road diet in mind. Jenkintown has been working on or wanting this for a long time, and I would love, especially for us Noble neighbors, for the township to consider working with them on this. I want to advocate that the township pursue physically protected bike lanes and doing an update of the bike master plan, and also to pursue grants for any sidewalks that we can get constructed east of Jenkintown to make the streets safer for people to get around. All right, thank you.
Thank you for your suggestions.
Trevor Lee, you're unmuted.
Thank you. My name is Trevor Lee. I'm a Noble resident, and I'm also with the Jenkintown Abington Neighbors Association. I would like to ask that the township work with Jenkintown, Cheltenham, and PennDOT to implement a road diet on 611 near Jenkintown and Noble, to support an update also of the bike master plan to include physically protected lanes for cyclists, and also to support the township in pursuing a park at Noble Station and plans from the Noble TOD for a walkable mixed-use environment of the tracks. And also I support pursuing grants for the construction of more sidewalks east of Jenkintown. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Laura Lehman, you're unmuted.
Laura Lehman, Meadowbrook. I disagree with Ms. Kubel that just answering an email for some of the blight that she has worked so tirelessly to bring to your attention behind the scenes, and now more recently in front of the scenes, because she got no response. And I think it's been close to 2 years that she's been working on that kind of thing. So that Mr. Spiegelman answered an email. I know she's pleased that she got an answer, but for 2 years he sat there and really did not help get that fixed. Neither did Mr. Rothman, neither did Mr. Weingrad. And Mr. Hecker and Mr. Spiegelman and I think some others signed her petition to petition themselves to clean up the trash. You can't even make this stuff up in some alternate universe. So I disagree with her congratulations. So, and also the question that I asked at the last session, in the beginning of the session actually, about Mr. Heil, I would definitely like to have an answer at this meeting why Mr. Heil was not the place to where people were directed to have the laws at 100 York enforced. That is really, really important. He is not doing the job of enforcing the laws. And in fact, it's really unclear which laws are being enforced. And he's been asked that over and over again, which ones he's enforcing. He simply doesn't answer. like everybody else in Abington. And this is dangerous. It's a dangerous, dangerous habit. These are real people's lives, and it is a sick building. So real people are getting sick. You heard their testimony already. Some of them who have had experienced problems from the building. So we need you to have a township where our officials respond. And what you passed tonight was in deference to the landlord and against the interests of the tenants. And that is nothing short of disgusting. So I am not in favor of giving anyone congratulations. Mr. Weingrad, why was Mr. Heil not the person to whom people were addressed or directed? Can you answer that, please? Mr. Weingrad, are you there?
No.
You just
No.
refused. You refused to answer something that important. It's just outrageous. My family's been harmed multiple times by negligence in this township. And literally, I actually can't sleep many nights because of a shoulder that is from negligence in this township, including issues with contractors and plenty of other things because of negligence in this township. What you do at that dais affects the lives of all of us. We need to have a manager that responds. This manager does not even think that the
All
tenant.
right, Ms. Lehman, thank you for your comments.
Let me finish this.
Nora Salzman, you're unmuted.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for letting me speak. I live in Noble. I'm also part of the Jenkinton-Abington Neighbors Association, like Trevor and Ross up the street. I want to second the improvements and initiatives that they both asked for you guys to support. I'm in full agreement. I just wanted to stress the importance to me personally. I know a lot of my neighbors in walkability. I moved from the city. I've lived in the city my entire life. First time I've ever lived in a suburb. Some people might say I don't have enough standing to talk, but the reason why I chose Abington over other places to live, I could have lived in any of them, was the density and the promise of walkability. And some of that has been true, but there's no connection to the commercial. I can't walk I can see Whole Foods from my house, and I can't walk to it because there's no pathway across the tracks unless you go over that very dangerous bridge on Old York Road. And Rydell also doesn't have a path. So I'm in full support and favor of more sidewalks, of protected bike lanes. We ride our bike everywhere, and also improvement to the Noble train station that I face. SEPTA has said they're going to move all these construction vehicles. It's been an eyesore. It's been an environmental impact, all the idling trucks and trash. And I'd really love for you guys to put your attention into improving this area and finding ways to work with SEPTA on temporary and long-term solutions. I know that the park plan has been talked about, and it's been bounced around for a long time. Just maybe some alternative proposals to use this space for the neighborhood to our benefit. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments and suggestions. Seeing that we are at the end of the public comment period, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved and seconded. President Hecker? What? Could I just, one comment? For the Mr. Manager Manfredi, for the folks, because I do believe there could be some people on from 100 York, can you just reiterate to them who to contact should there be problems in the building?
Certainly. It would be our code enforcement at abingtonpa.gov, or if you need to speak with anyone individually, it would be Chris Platts.
And again, for anybody out there that does have complaints, if you copy me on it, I can follow up as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Weingrad. Okay, we are adjourned, and we're going to move right into the working session.